in Baltimore, a Military Appreciation Day. And, of course, my wife's donor Neil's in the house as well. And, I tell you, the Pittsburgh offense struggled a lot early in the game, and I guess Ben Roethlisberger coming back from this injury had some effect on that. Joining us now from the great city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where some of you ins and out will be spending Christmas with the Ravens and the Steelers up there. He is Guy Junker, longtime sports anchor and reporter at WTAE in the Berg, as they say. Guy, pretty obvious, man. Big Ben, didn't look like the Big Ben that I recognize on Sunday.
Well, you know what? I think that if there are a lot of Steeler fans that think this guy's going to play another 5 or 6 years, and I think we got a good glimpse on Sunday of what it will be like as his mobility goes down, which it's going to, the older that he gets, because he was not, I could tell from the first time he dropped back today that he wasn't as limber as he normally was. And what makes him as good as he is his ability to extend plays, to run with the ball, to break tackles, and to stay alive even when he gets out of the pocket, and there was very little of that today. But beyond that, I don't know why he was so inaccurate. Even the little dump-off passes to Le'Veon Bell he couldn't connect on. And frankly, I actually thought as the fourth quarter started that maybe they should make a quarterback change. I know there's no way he would, and the resulting numbers that he did put up in the fourth quarter may have been a sign that he shook some of the rust off after not having any game action for 3 weeks. But I think he was hampered by a tender knee, but that's no excuse for. I'm just disappointed in the game, period. I mean, the Ravens didn't play well either. This used to be such a great rivalry, and you used the word struggled. I can think of another word that begins with an ST, and that stinks.
Well, and it was 21-0 at one point. I'm wondering, how did it get here? But this is what happens when special teams breakdowns happen, and when you complete a slant that goes 95 yards for a touchdown. I mean, look, the Steelers secondary has been maligned in recent years, and one of the shortcomings of the franchise. And I know Tomlin and everybody up there put a lot of stock in trying to get better on the backside in the secondary and replace guys from 10 years ago that the Palomalus aren't coming back. Hey, we're still trying to find Ed Reed and Ray Lewis around here, Guy, right? I mean, so we got we always have these problems replacing these legends, but for the Steelers, it has not been a good look the last couple of weeks. I mean, now they're mired in this long losing streak. The Ravens didn't win for a month. The Steelers could be facing that with Dallas coming to town on Sunday, right?
Sure, absolutely. Dallas hasn't lost a game on the road yet. They come in here 4-0 on or haven't lost since their opening game. I think they could be in big trouble. And part of the problem with them trying to rebuild the Steelers trying to rebuild their secondary is guys keep getting hurt. They draft these guys and then they can't play. Artie Burns is the first defensive back for the Steelers to make an interception this year today, and that was his first NFL start. He's played in every game. Might be a bit of an encouraging sign there.
Well, Joe did throw it right to him, too, so it wasn't much of a skill play.
No, but right place at the right time, he'll take any time. The thing with this team was from the very beginning, even if their defense was healthy, they were going to have, they talked a lot in training camp about this team could average 30 points a game. And I think when healthy, they could. And for the most part, I mean, today was really, they had a similar performance in Philadelphia earlier this year, but, they put points on the board. And even with Landry Jones as the backup quarterback, had a shot at beating New England. But shot themselves in the foot in that game. So we knew from the beginning of this year, if they were going to be really good, they were going to have to average 30 points a game, and it was all going to be on the offense. And then when you start having guys get hurt on offense, particularly the quarterback, there are too many warts on defense for a banged-up offense to cover up.
Well, I tell you what, there are a lot of guys with a little axe to grind, right? I mean, Terrence West going to play on Thursday night against Cleveland. That's a little sacred for him. Obviously, Steve Smith's gotten together with the Carolina Panthers a couple times around here. That's sacred. The Mike Wallace Pittsburgh thing, I mean, he was persnickety most of the week, quite frankly. I mean, that's 3 teams ago now, right? I mean, literally for him. But he sort of took it out on the Steelers, and it kind of made himself lightheaded with the celebration afterward because he was so excited to do that against the Steelers.
Yeah, we caught our camera guys caught a nice moment between he and Ben Roethlisberger after the game, telling each other, he says, hey, was that longer than the one that we had? And hey, good luck the rest of the way, love you. And it wasn't Steelers-Ravens hate, that's for sure. But I agree with you. I think there's been enough stops in between. But it still was his first team, and they still had that young money group of receivers. Emmanuel Sanders left as well. And Mike Tomlin did used to call him the one-trick pony, that he was only good for the one thing, and that's breaking off the long ball. So I'm sure there was still maybe it wouldn't be the same as if he had played for the Steelers most recently, but there's still a lot of extra joy in that touchdown for him.
All right, from the Pittsburgh side, we got Guy Junker joining us here from WTAE up in Pittsburgh. From your side in watching the Ravens win this game, I don't know if there's anything on the Pittsburgh side. First off, you got to get your own house together because that's a mess going on right now. But there's nothing so impressive about the Ravens, the first-place Ravens. I got to say that, Guy, because they are in first place. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for that, at least the meantime. We got Cleveland on Thursday night. But, there's nothing that says that Christmas week, when we come up there with Yins and that and celebrate the holidays and all that, and we're going to Cincinnati the next week. I mean, the last 2 weeks, this is what it's going to come down to because nobody's running away from anybody here. And if you've seen the Ravens' schedule, no one has a tougher schedule between now and the next time we get together with you guys.
Yeah, and what I was thinking today too was that the Bengals, that tie could really wind up killing them. All three are 1-1 in the division to this point, and they're going to sit there with that half a game separating them and the Ravens and the Steelers right now. Yeah, I expect it to come down to that. But the point is, both of these teams, I'm sure Baltimore fans are sitting there thinking, geez, we were 3-1, what happened? If the Steelers won today, they would have been fairly comfortable at the halfway point, sitting there at least division-wise. At one point, they had hoped that, this team would be one of the elite of the AFC. They certainly are not that. I'd like to put Baltimore's defense and the Steelers' offense together on the same team and get a complete team that way. Just watching Baltimore played today, I still think that, is it good, bad offense or good defense? I'm still impressed with what they're able to do defensively, take advantage of the special teams plays that they did make, and that's something the Steelers have. And this team has to bother Steelers fans because they can't win on the road. They've lost, I looked up the numbers earlier, I think they're 14-22. This isn't just this week, this year, last year, 14-22 in their last 36 road games, and their record against teams with losing records is terrible. They're better off playing. They probably have a better shot at beating Dallas next week than they had at beating the Ravens today.
Well, you know what the strange thing about it is? In this division, and look, we've been at this 20 years, you and I, right? Watching this, there's always been one team, usually it's Pittsburgh, sometimes it's Cincinnati, rarely it's been the Ravens, that is that threat to win 13, 14 games, and they always have some sort of padding. Somebody's always sort of the stalking horse, in this division, and usually the second and third place teams are playing for 10 or 11 wins and a solid wild card berth. There's not all this slapping around that we see like in the NFC South where, they're all under 500 and trying to go 8-8 and win and steal the division to get into the playoffs. But somebody's going to go 8-8 or 9-7 and steal this division because nobody's winning 11 games in this division. And that unto itself is weird. And I think the other part of it is there's only going to be one team that probably comes out of this, right? I mean, we'll see how it all shakes out in the rest of the AFC, but I don't know that there's going to be 2 or 3 9-7 wild card teams. We'll find that out, but this may be a winner-take-all for the division, and it might be first team that gets to 9 at this point to win the division, and that would be, as you pointed out in the beginning, this used to be something Steelers, Ravens. These used to be good teams. Now these are just teams trying to get by right now, all these teams.
Yeah, I go back to what I said about Sunday's game originally. It was disappointing just because it wasn't a very well-played football game. I mean, if you just gave the stats out that, both teams would be penalized in the 90s in terms of yardage, you'd think, that's Steelers-Ravens football. Well, that's not. That was more sloppiness and poor play than it was hard play or dirty play, I thought. And it is the same with the division. I mean, even with the Browns in it, this has been the best division in football for quite a few years, or in any given year they have the opportunity to be considered the best team in the division, 2-3 teams getting into the playoffs. Right now, I mean, when you're 500 and you're leading the division, then that leaves a lot to be desired. It hasn't been great football. We haven't seen a good game here in a month, and I know you guys went through the same thing there. Both teams have had more than their share of injuries. Steve Smith coming back today was certainly a help. He looked like he had a little bit of extra caffeine before the game started. But
always,
I don't know where it's headed. Can one of them get hot down the stretch, get healthy? The other thing is, Ben Roethlisberger made the statement the week before he got hurt that he thinks their practices are too physical, and that's why the Steelers have had so many injuries. I don't buy that at all. If you talk to a Jack Lambert or a Jack Ham or one of those guys, when they had 6 weeks of 2 days of training camp, and now they only practice in pads 1 day a week. I don't see it that way, but they are a bag of potato chips right now. Every other play all year, someone's being carted off the field. They can't stay healthy. I don't know if it's just bad luck, if it's anything to do with their weight training, or if there's anything that can be done by the staff to fix that. But it does get disheartening when you can never put the same lineup out there 2 plays in a row.
Yeah, I'm not a guy that thinks by Christmas we will have exorcised the Steelers' demons or somebody else will do that in the coming weeks. But I must say, if they can't start to run the ball and get the offensive line together, as you've pointed out, Roethlisberger is an aging commodity at this point. I know they've moved a little bit away from being a run-first offense because they've had so many incredible weapons to toss the ball around, and they got a $20 million quarterback that can get out of the pocket and do it. But Le'Veon Bell, the last couple of years, the way they're capable of running the football, I didn't see that at all on Sunday. I mean, they look like a disaster in the running game right now.
Yeah, it didn't help that the first play or the second play of the game, Marquise Pouncey gets hurt. He did come back, but he wasn't very effective. And it cracked me up because the play that he goes out, they run right up the middle. I'm like, yeah, that's great. You just lose an all-pro center, and now you're going to run right up the middle on the first play after that. I'm not sure. Now, they have had some success running the ball this year, but I also wonder with Le'Veon Bell, and they got contract decisions to make on him. How many times can you hurt the same knee and still have the same cutting ability, the same moves, and the same speed? He doesn't to the naked eye appear like he's lost a ton, but this is a guy that has not been able to. You look at a D'Angelo Williams, who's been a little bit nicked up the last couple of weeks, who doesn't like to talk about his age, but is an incredible specimen and still playing that position in his 30s. And Le'Veon Bell can't stay on the field 10 years younger.
We are chatting with Guy Junker. He is Guy Junker, WTAE, out on Twitter and up in Pittsburgh as well. Last thoughts for you here. I mean, we've been at this division a long time, and Lord knows there was enough heartbreak to go around Cleveland last week after Game 7. We got the Browns on Thursday night on short rest. No one wants to lose to the Browns, Guy.
No, someone's ahead, and then the Steelers have them the week after Baltimore has them. And if they lose to Dallas and then have to go to Cleveland, I mean, they lost 5 in a row and a few years back and lost a game in Cleveland. It was the 5th of the 5. They needed it to get in the playoffs, and that would make me extremely nervous if they lose to Dallas and have to go up there. But you're right. Sooner or later, they're probably going to win a game against somebody, which will end up being an embarrassment. But the difference in the NFL, I truly believe this, between the worst team and the best team isn't that great.
Well, you haven't seen the Patriots play then.
Yeah, actually. There's the perfect example. Early in the season, you got Brady suspended and Roethlisberger healthy. When did the two teams meet? When Roethlisberger's out hurt and Brady's back. So so much of the year, so many Super Bowl champions, in my opinion, in the last decade have been the healthiest team, not necessarily the best team. Healthiest team come late January, early February.
Well, we're certainly trending in the right direction. We got a lot of bodies back on the field on Sunday. I know the Steelers did too and lost a few. Guy, great having you on, man. I appreciate the visit. Keep everybody warm up there. We'll be up there for some hockey before it's all over with because I'm a Caps guy, and I know you're probably a Penguins guy. And, of course, we got our football game on Christmas. We'll see you then. Appreciate the time, man.
We'll put some coleslaw and French fries on the turkey.
That would be delicious. Maybe a nice thick piece of Italian bread in between. I like that. I like the way you're thinking. I'll see you up there in Pittsburgh around the holidays. Great having you on, Guy.
All right, thanks.
You got it, Guy Junker, WTAE in Pittsburgh. Ends in that. And, of course, the Ravens, a 21-14 victory over the Steelers on Sunday. You can find anything you miss here in the Bahia Toyota Audio Vault all week long, or at least through the short week as we get ready for Thursday night. And, of course, my wife's donor, Niels, is in town. You can follow all the places we're going and the things we're doing out on Facebook and Twitter and all of our social media, Instagram. The hashtag is NielsSavedGen, as well as our Jen Strong hashtag. So we're having some fun. He's a good luck charm so far. Met Harbaugh and Flacco before the game, and they got off the 4-game schneid on Sunday, so I'll take that. Our morning newspaper ships to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That is powered up by Planet Fitness at PlanetFitness.com. Still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life there. Breaking news, and we're waiting on the Orioles to hire a pitching coach. I'm sure the Ravens will have some more injury reports before Thursday night, as well as during the little mini-bye this weekend. If you're on the WNST text service, you get all of that first. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Nasty at WNST.net is my email address. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on Facebook Live, as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We're out at Buffalo Wild Wings and Owings Mills every Monday night for the best seat in the house. It's all brought to you by Fully Loaded Limo and Transportation. They take you back and forth. You get a $100 gift card. We also have the Blazing Wing Eating Challenge. That is for a $25 gift card, as well as 3 bottles of your favorite Buffalo Wild Wing sauce. I'm a Chipotle rub guy, but that's just the way I roll. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.